Yeah, I'm hungry.
I am the crazy one, Crazy G, and I am in the middle of it as always. I'm here on location at the Palladium in Worcester, and I have the privilege of speaking to Ben Bruce, the guitar player for Asking Alexandria. Welcome to the G Spot, and thanks for taking the time to hit it.
I'll tell you, man, it's taken me years to find the G spot. I almost don't believe it's happened yet. We'll see. It's a fabled G spot. I don't know if it's a real thing.
As far as my show is concerned,
It's
a real thing.
Oh yeah, I like your show.
For those who may not know much about Asking Alexandria, can you shed some light on the American fans as far as, how you guys came about?
I mean, we were quite fortunate. We obviously were from England. We started in England, but we didn't bother playing in England or touring or anything. We came straight to the States because we were like, this is the biggest market in the world. We have to try and break America, do the whole thing. And we came here, and it wasn't what we expected. We ended up living in a Walmart car park for a very long time in an old RV. But we just started touring relentlessly, over and over and over again, same states, round and round and round. And we've built up what I think is one of the most loyal fan bases in the world, especially in the States. States is a very overly saturated market. Bands tour all the time, so it's easy for kids to pick and choose shows. I'll get them next time. But our fans, they're just awesome. Every time we turn up, like say for instance here at the Palladium, sold out show, good times. It's awesome. We're very, very lucky.
Well, you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, you're relatively new. I mean, you haven't been around for 10, 20 years.
No, we've been around about 6-7 years.
And you've collected a pretty big fan base.
Yeah, we have.
I mean, that's pretty hard to do in this business.
It's very hard to do, especially this day and age when people would rather sit at home and watch YouTube,
No, I hear you. Your newest CD, From Death to Destiny, is purely punishing. What was it like writing this CD, and did you do anything different with it compared to your past releases?
We actually had a lot of fun writing this record. With the previous two albums, we tour all the time, so we don't really have any time off to really sit down and actually write an album. So before we started writing for this one, I took one of my paychecks and I personally put it into buying a tour bus alongside. I own half this bus with our tour manager Kyle, and we ripped out the whole inside of the back lounge and we built a fully functioning recording studio. There's a live drum kit, there's a vocal booth, there's guitar rigs, there's just Pro Tools, everything's set up perfect. So if we can't stop touring, we can write on the road comfortably now. So we had months and months of just touring around America on this bus, and we had a studio at our disposal. Like whenever we wanted it, we could wake up at 4 a.m. and be like, inspiration struck in my sleep, and go back to the back lounge and jam it out. Or we could be up drinking and just fancy jamming and stuff like that. So we actually had a lot of fun writing this album. Had a lot of freedom that we didn't have with the previous two.
Very cool. That's a cool story, man.
Pretty cool.
You guys tore the tour bus apart.
Yeah, pretty cool.
The Death of Me is hypnotic and hammering. What was the idea behind that track?
We're all huge 80s rock fans, which obviously is an era that has passed, but we're still very fond of. And we're also known for being just quite a heavy band, We've never had any radio appeal before because we've simply been too heavy. So the whole thing with that song was we wanted to kind of get our 80s rock out of us. So we wanted a rockier song, but we didn't want to turn our back on our original fan base. So we were like, let's prove to people that you can still be heavy and still be catchy and melodic and rocky and get on the radio at the same time without losing any of that raw aggressive feeling that we have in our other tunes. So, that was the whole point in that song. I think it came out pretty good. I think we did a good job proving that point,
It came out fabulous. Another blistering tune is Killing You. What went into writing that track?
That was actually one of the first ones we wrote on the bus after we built it. We were just jamming, having a good time, and it turned out to be this just really aggressive, heavy, hammering song, and musically, and it was just very driven. We wrote it really for a live set. We wanted an energetic song that kids could run around to, scream to, mosh to, whatever the hell you want to do at a fucking rock show. And Danny was in quite a bad place at this moment in time, splitting up with his ex-girlfriend and such, so he had a lot of pent-up aggression and anger that he needed to get off his chest, and used and abused that song to its full extent. And it's one of my favourite songs on the new album as far as the heavy ones go.
Well, the video for Killing You is
pretty brutal.
It's twisted, to say the least. What was it like making the video for that song?
It's kind of warped because it was horrible. We were trying to put this message across where, like, hence in the beginning of the video, this chick's family is calling and she's ignoring them and she's depressed and she's upset about shit, so she's blowing her family off, and she basically goes to this address as an escape. She's hiding behind something, and she walks in, everything seems cool as it always does on the outside, but really when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, she's thrown herself into hell basically, and she's just in this horrible place, and by the time she's realized it and she tries to leave, it's too late. She can't get out. She's fucking stuck there in that black hole. And when really all she needed was to answer the phone in the beginning, and it would have been cool, lean on someone. Don't throw your family and shove them aside. And family can be friends. It can be anyone around you that's supportive. But, she ignored all that she had and, fucked herself, Just kind of like trying to put that message across that you always have someone that you can talk to, someone that you can lean on, someone that's there for you to help you through the tough times. Don't turn into whatever the vice is, whether it's drugs, drinking, self-harming, whatever it is. Don't give in to that temptation, because more often than not, once you do, you're stuck,
Well, I found it pretty ingenious that you actually took all those issues, if you want to call them that, and kind of put them all, what were they, in vending machines?
Yeah.
They were like in snack machines, or soda machines.
They can't get out, like they're trapped in these four walls and confined, and
it was pretty cool. I was like, wow, this is, the message is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
The track "Run Free" is spellbinding and dangerous. What message are you trying to send with that song?
We, like I said, we're quite an aggressive band, and a lot of our lyrics are, a lot of them are about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, fair dues. But we did notice a lot of people. Again, same with the whole "Killing You" video thing. There's a lot of kids coming up to us. We finally realised, we're a voice. Like, we're the voice of the youth of today, one of many, obviously, and we can use this to hopefully help and make a difference, and "Run Free" is just a song that's basically saying, hold on, things may seem bad now, but it always gets better in the end. Everyone goes through life's fucking bullshit and tests, but you just need to fucking believe in yourself and who you are. Don't let other people put you down, and you will come out the other end, and you will do great things in life.
Great message.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, words to live by. Going back to what we first talked about, in a sense, what would you say has attributed to the overwhelming fan base you guys have gotten in really such a short period of time? I mean, is it because you came to the States and started here, or?
I think initially, yes, it turned people's heads like, this band's British, they're English, they're not from around here, so it was exciting, it was exotic, people wanted to check it out. And back in the day as well, we still do drink far too much and party too hard. So, but back then even more so. And so it's kind of like when you're on the highway and you're driving and there's a car wreck. You can't help but look at the car wreck. You don't want to, but you have to. You want to see what the fuck is going on over there, And that's kind of like what we were. We were that car wreck that just came crashing through town and turned a few heads. But since then, our fans, we've really, really connected with our fans. We take a lot of time to talk to them on social media sites. After shows, we'll go out and meet them. We do meet and greets. We do respond to fans' letters and stuff that they write to us and try and communicate with them and kind of like be there for them, Like I said, we realise that we really can make a difference in people's lives, and I think our fans have grown up knowing that about us. They can come to us and we'll be there, and I think that's why they're so loyal, and likewise we're loyal back to our fan base.
And I've noticed that. I mean, I've been watching you guys for years now, believe it or not, I like to stand back and watch very quietly and see what's what. And you guys just, you really do. You take the time to give everything you can to the fans, and that means a lot today.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, and I say this in a lot of interviews. I'm a little older, so back in the day, there were a lot of bands that their egos was so big.
Yeah.
That they didn't have time to meet with the fans, or they didn't go that extra step.
Yeah.
Today's day and age, it's very rare to find a band that does that along the lines that you do. What I mean?
It's difficult. A lot of fans do. They come, they play the show, they're like, sweet, we got paid. Like, thank you to our fans, and that's it. They go and they bail and stuff. But it's like, well, no, we try and be there as best as we possibly can. Like, for instance, after this, I actually have to go and call a cancer patient not because I feel I have to, but because I was on Instagram and this girl was a big fan. I found out she had cancer and she's starting chemo. And I was like, well, what effort of mine does it take to take a few minutes out of my day to call someone that's maybe not in as good a place as I am, and at least, if I can't do anything to help, at least maybe give them a smile.
That's cool.
And it's important that people still have to realise that, yes, you're the band, yes, you're up there on stage playing the songs that people love to listen to, but if those people weren't listening and they weren't supporting your band and they weren't there for you, then where the fuck would you be? You know, you were once a fan on the other side of the fence, and bands forget that. I remember going to shows when I was a kid, looking up at those bands going, God, they're the best, like, I want to be like them. And then I've met them, and it's like, oh, you're a dick. Like, and it's kind of ruined that band for me. Like, we never want to be that band.
No, and that's good to hear, because I'm not going to say a lot of bands are like that today, but I think a lot of artists and bands are more aware of that. Mm-hmm. They do take that extra effort. Yeah. And some go above and beyond, like you guys, you know? So, who are some of Asking Alexandria's musical influence?
It's so difficult. To me personally, I love anything from B.B. King and Eric Clapton to the Beatles to Led Zeppelin to Motley Crue to Slipknot and Metallica and System of a Down. You know, like, there's a whole big range, but I know, for instance, for Asking Alexandria as a band, bands that we look up to and admire and try and follow in the footsteps of and take notes is definitely bands such as Slipknot. They're a huge inspiration to Asking Alexandria. Avenged Sevenfold, a very big inspiration to us. Guns N' Roses, another very big influence on our band, and not necessarily, oh, I love that music, so I'm going to write that music, but just everything they've done, from the songs they've written to their career choices to how they've fucking developed as a band and grown. You know, just analysing different bands and why they're successful and why they're so good and why their albums do so well and what makes that album so great and connects with their fans and stuff. So those three bands in particular, I think, are three of our biggest influences. You
guys have been on the road for some time now, and Break Down the Walls tour is in full swing. What has it been like for you guys on the road, and do you have any cool stories you could share?
For this tour in particular, it's really only just started. So far, it's probably one of my favourite US headliners that we've done today. We've done so many, it's hard to remember them all, but this one in particular, there's not been a day where I've been in my bus like, oh, this blows, I'm tired. So I wake up every day and I'm like, yes, next show. Like, it's kind of a drag waiting throughout the day to actually get to stage, but this tour's been so good that every time we've come on stage, it's like, yes, all the waiting around's been worth it. This is amazing. So, this has just been a really, really good time. There's not really many crazy stories to tell on this tour yet, so we'll see.
Well, hopefully I'll hear of some down the road.
It's because we play so late, so our bus call's always right after the show, so we have to drive straight away. Normally we'd be in titty bars and throwing TVs out of windows and such, but nope, this tour it's all early bus calls.
And that's what's cool, because you guys still do the normal things that you would do, but you still give your time to people.
We still act like a bunch of dickhead rock and rollers, but, you know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly, you have to have a little fun.
You guys have a break, it looks like, coming up around May until October. What are the band's plans for that break?
We actually have a huge summer tour that we're doing across the States that hasn't been announced just yet, but I believe it's being announced within the next week or so. So that slot will be filled with a very, very big US tour, which we're really excited about.
Cool. Other than touring and promoting From Death to Destiny, is there anything else in the works for Asking Alexandria in 2014? What can the fans expect next?
Actually, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't care. This summer, before this tour that I just mentioned, we're actually re-releasing From Death to Destiny, but it's we're going to have it completely remixed. We're going to add like 4 or 5 brand new songs that people have never heard before that we're actually recording after this tour in 4 days. It's going to include the live DVD of our sold out performance at Brixton Academy in England. It's going to have interviews, backstage footage. Just basically 3 discs of content are going to be included in the re-release of From Death to Destiny.
Very cool.
Yeah, so,
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll tell you what. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time, for hitting the G-spot.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Bruce, the guitarist for Asking Alexandria. I want to thank you.
And I appreciate
your time. And I can't wait till tonight. Have a great show. And looking forward to more from you.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.